Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Sasha Kuznetsova and today we're going to be making body lotion from scratch. This is going to be a very light lotion because we're going to be using a lot of water. And to bring the water part and oil parts together, we're going to be using BTMS emulsifying wax. We're also going to add a thickener to it just to make sure that our emulsion stays stable and that our lotion doesn't separate in the future. And then we're going to add a little bit of preservative, and guys, don't skip this step, because if you do, in about 2 or 3 days your lotion is going to start growing mold and some other nasty stuff in it, and you don't want that to happen. So to prevent that from happening, I highly recommend that you use a preservative. So let's get started. For this recipe we're going to need 332 grams of distilled water and 8 grams of sodium lactate. We're going to mix them together, and this is going to be our water part. You want to make sure that you use distilled water to minimize the chance of growing mold and other nasty things in your lotion. And I like using sodium lactate because it makes your lotion more hydrating. It is a humectant, which means it will draw the moisture out of the air and into your skin. But you can also use 8 grams of glycerin or even honey instead. They are also humectants, but I do find sodium lactate to be the most effective. And right here we have our oils, 16 grams of sunflower oil and 16 grams of olive oil. I picked those oils for their awesome properties. Olive oil is a humectant and very moisturizing, and sunflower oil is very high in vitamin E, which is very great for your skin. And then we have 16 grams of BTMS emulsifying wax and 8 grams of cetyl alcohol, which is a thickener. And we're going to mix them both in with the oils, and that's going to be our oil part. And now we're going to place both parts in a water bath, and we're going to bring the water to boil at first, and then we're going to reduce the heat just a little bit and continue boiling it just slightly but not too vigorously. And we're going to hold it there until our BTMS emulsifying wax and cetyl alcohol are fully melted and our sodium lactate fully dissolved in water. Meanwhile, we can prep our preservative. We'll be using 2 grams of Near Defense, which is a broad spectrum preservative. And we're going to mix it in with about 1/4 teaspoon of distilled water. Just give it a nice stir and set it aside. So it has been about 40 minutes and it looks like our wax is fully dissolved in our oils and sodium lactate is fully dissolved in water. So now we can actually take our water part, and it's going to be very hot, so you probably want to use a cloth, and we are going to add it to our oil part. See, it's already emulsifying, changed the color. We're going to give it a little stir, and we're going to let it sit here for a couple more minutes. Now we're ready to mix it with our stick blender until it's fully emulsified. Gonna give it some small stirs at first because it's very liquid and it's gonna try to splash all over. I probably should have used a bigger measuring cup. All right, let me put it into a bigger measuring cup. How about that? Now it should be easier. So guys, I've been mixing for about 10 minutes and I think it's fully emulsified now, but it is still very hot, so we cannot really add any preservative or any essential oils. So I'm gonna put it into a cold water bowl so that it cools down faster. And I'm just going to continue mixing until it cools down to about 40 degrees Celsius. Okay, it's definitely thickening now. I'm going to switch to a spoon. See how thick it's getting? Let's see what's the temperature is like. Still hot, so I'm just gonna let it sit for a little longer until it cools down even more. So it's been sitting like this for another 10 to 15 minutes, and right now it's very thickened, as you can see. And the temperature is definitely below 40 degrees by Celsius. And how I know, if you don't have a thermometer, this is how you can test it. You can put a little drop on your wrist, and if it feels slightly warm, or if it feels kind of the same temperature as your wrist, then it's definitely ready, and we can definitely mix in our preservative and our essential oils. And we can now mix in our preservative that we mixed in earlier. Make sure we get it all in there. Just give it a nice stir so it distributes evenly. And now we can add our essential oils, which I'm gonna use lemongrass essential oils because I really like the smell, but you don't have to use this fragrance. You can use any essential oils that you like. And I'm gonna do 32 drops of that. Alright, it looks like now we can put our lotion into jars. I like using those ball jars. They're very convenient, they're inexpensive, you can buy them pretty much anywhere. Because they're made out of glass, you can reuse them many times, and I kind of like that. But you can use any packaging that you like. So it looks like we got about 12 ounces of lotion out of this recipe, which is a pretty good amount. And I'm gonna put those leak-proof bowl covers. I bought them separately. They're very convenient. They're made out of plastic, so you can wash them, disinfect them, and reuse them. So there you go, our lotion. Well guys, I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. Otherwise, stay well, and I will see you next time.